Ngawang Namgyal was born in 1594 in Druk Sewa Jangchubling in the Tsang region of Tibet. His father, Mifam Tempai Nima, was the 15th abbot of Druk Ralung, one of the principal seats of Drukpa Kagyu school. Drukpa Kagyu was founded by Tsangpa Gyari Dorji in the 12th century. The school had at one point the largest followers among all the 4 schools of Himalayan Buddhism. Ngawang Namgyal was considered to be an embodiment of Avalokiteshvara, the Buddha of compassion. Many auspicious signs and visions welcomed his birth. Ngawang Namgyal received his lay Buddhist vows from his grandfather Mifam Chogyal and studied under a personal tutor named Laong Lode. In his teens, he would see a recurrent dream of a raven flying him to a distant land into a place with a temple near a river with a wooden bridge over it. At the age of 13, Ngawang Namgyal was enthroned as the 16th Prince Abbot of Druk Ralung. It was on this occasion that he was conferred the religious title of Zhabdrung, which means the divine at whose feet one submits. Ngawang Namgyal was also recognized as the reincarnation of Pema Karpo, and this recognition did not go well with the Tsang ruler Phunso Namgyal. He supported another candidate, Paksam Wangpo, the son of Chöngke Penlop. The tension and the dispute escalated to a point where Zhabdrung's life was in danger. He had to decide to leave the country for some time. However, many Buddhist scholars believe that the personal tension between the Tsang Desi and the Zhabdrung were only secondary reasons. Zhabdrung's destiny was in Lhomon Kaji, as Bhutan was known then, and when fate knocks, anything good or bad could happen, leading to one's destiny. In 1616, coinciding with the year of the fire dragon as per the lunar calendar, Zhabdrung Ngawang Namgyal entered Bhutan through Laya. He brought with him a precious relic, the Rangjung Kharsapane. From Laya, Zhabdrung traveled to Gasa, Damji, Lingji, and finally to Thimphu. When he reached Pangri Zampa, he remembered the place from his recurrent dream as a child of a raven flying him there. The temple beside the river, with a wooden bridge over it, is exactly the way he saw in his dream. From Thimphu, he traveled to Paro, where the Hungrel and the Zarchen families received him in great reverence. He stayed in Druk Choding, a temple founded by his great-great-grandfather. During his stay in Paro, Zhabdrung learned that his estate in Ralung was confiscated by the Tsang Desi, who also sent an army to capture him and retrieve the sacred relic. His patron families raised a militia and repelled the invaders. Although the invaders were defeated, Zhabdrung Ngawang Namgyal was shocked by the deaths on both sides. He felt totally responsible that he even contemplated renouncing everything and leading a hermetic life like Jisen Milarepa. Then in Drelazong, he had a vision of Mahakala, the supreme garden deity. He also had a dream of 4 Dakinis who told him that he had a sacred duty to consolidate the Dharma in the southern land. In 1618, Zhabdrung Ngawang Namgyal entered into a solitary retreat at Tango, a place offered to him by his relative Theong Tenzin, the great-grandson of Drukpa Khinle. At the end of the short retreat at Tango, he made his famous proclamation known as Nga Chuduma, the 16 Eyes, which became his official seal.
Nga Chudu se meje, Zhabdrung Bachi Nga Gelu je Nga Taxi Sunsu Membe, Kwaragi Shenlu, Delete, Ichigi Tole, Karapa. Devi Nubachi Yoga, Junga Siviki, Tesome Magoba, Tiribari, Pendendu Petenji, Ngayin, Lunya College, Ngayin, Rinilo Kepaya, Ngayin, Zebi Tutuki Dapoya, Ngayin, Zombe want you to pay Ngayin, Delete, Kaji, Telebeza Besaturo, Delete Kolo, Bemasubda, Tesomda, Topazalera, me, the Chanamgi Dapo, Kajaver Besubji in Isakaragi, Deshigi de Bujundo.
In 1620, Zhabdrung Ngawang Namgyal undertook the construction of a temple at Cheri in Thimphu. While the main purpose of the temple was to house the remains of his father who passed away the year before, Zhabdrung also established the first monastic body there.
Temaba Belundu Bichudi Hama Pajudumji Namchino, Iro Shabdu Korgi Kablo, Tagutam Badi Katele Tsugunina, said Tujina, telling Tudam Tabadu Surumbashin to Shui Kapsulo, the Cheri Tsubachin. Tele maung bando longachi dugia khabdina lo pelindu chugin digi yuren berane ni mese tusam jishina Zhabdrung Machigi gyolo gi dede Bhutan tamba gyolo sumchube tengachi cheri lu tsunanu se shunila.
After completing the first temple at Cheri, Zhabdrung Ngawang Namgyal entered into a 3-year meditation retreat to continue his religious education. The year was 1623 and Zhabdrung was 28. When he completed his retreat at the age of 31, his hair and beard had grown long, and it was that image of Zhabdrung that artists of that era immortalized him with a famous portrait. Having completed his 3-year retreat, Zhabdrung moved on to establish his authority over the southern lands by issuing a decree. The decree called for all humans and non-humans and even gods and deities to heed to his words thereafter. The decree was a great strategy.
Normally, you just would have a script as a proclamation, send emissaries around the country or around the region, which would constitute a country later. But he did that. But what he also did was he had his emissaries, ambassadors, so to say, or political envoys, directed to forests, mountains, lakes, cliffs, where non-human spirits, or we may call the 8 classes of spirits, reside.
The local people who were superstitious and who were practicing pre-Buddhist faiths and nature worships were amazed at a man who could command not just human beings but also gods and deities. They began to rally behind him. In 1627, Zhabdrung Ngawang Namgyal also received 2 unusual guests, Portuguese missionaries Father Sasela and Father Cabral. Sasela and Cabral, the first Westerners to visit the country, described Zhabdrung Ngawang Namgyal as a very charismatic and progressive leader. As Zhabdrung Ngawang Namgyal consolidated his authority, he was well aware about possible rounds of invasions from the north. Hence, to protect his people and the new state, he undertook the construction of the first temple fortress of Semtoha. However, soon after it was completed, it was occupied by Tibetan forces during the second invasion of 1634. A fortunate fire accident believed to be the works of guardian deities put an end to occupation, killing the invaders. Although Semtoha Dzong was completely destroyed, Zhabdrung came out stronger and undertook to build a bigger dzong in Punakha. In 1637, the new dzong in Punakha was completed. Zhabdrung established Punakha as the center for his new administration and appointed Tenzin Drugel as the head of secular affairs and Drung Damchu Gelsen to look after religious matters. He also named the new nation Drugyul, the land of Thunder Dragon. Shortly after building Punakha Dzong, Zhabdrung Ngawang Namgyal went on to build several dzongs in Wangdi, Thimphu, Paro, Drugel and Dagana. In 1649, when Zhabdrung was 56 years old, he commissioned a massive religious project to make over 11 million miniature statues of Buddha in memory of all the war victims from both sides in the series of invasions that took place. He worked late into the night for months, and it soon took a toll on him. 2 years later, in 1651, he entered into a retreat in Punahadzong, issuing instructions that no one should disturb him. It's believed that he passed away in 1651 on the 10th day of the 3rd month. However, his death was kept a secret for over 56 years so as to avoid internal conflicts and external threats. Zhabdrung had no doubt brought the country together under one central authority for the first time in history. However, the territorial integration was not merely an expansion of his authority or subjugation of adversaries. Zhabdrung's greater vision was to carve out an independent and sovereign nation, foster rule of law, and promote a unique national identity. Some men find their own destiny, and there are those who keep seeking all their lives. But a few not only manage to fulfill them, they also write the destiny for others. Zhabdrung Ngawang Namgyal was one such man. He wrote the destiny for Bhutan.